Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining in. So, for a long time, I was like, what's the big deal about the world not being real? So many, the course emphasizes it. I would talk to people about the course. I was like, well, can't we just put that aside and focus on forgiveness, focus on God goes with me wherever I go? And certainly that's an option. And here's the reason why it's so important to take the world we see as unreal. Let's see. This is from the Circle of Atonement edition, chapter 2, section 8, paragraph 9. As long as you believe in what your physical sight tells you, all your corrective behaviors will be misdirected. So, if I believe it, if I believe that all of this is real, then I give it value. If I give it value, then I'm going to seek things in it. In a sense, it's really as simple as that. This all really became clear to me a couple days ago when I was thinking about video games. People who play video games, and I've had quite a history with video games, so I can speak on this with some expertise. People who play video games, basically what they're doing is they're in a non-real world, literally a virtual, non-existent world. And they're walking around doing things in this world, seeking things in this world, seeking money, seeking glory, seeking adventure, seeking power, seeking safety, seeking all these things. But none of it amounts to anything. None of it amounts to anything at all. And yet, people take it quite seriously, very seriously. Um, they act as if it's real. And so they give it value. And then they put their time, energy, and attention in achieving things inside the virtual, unreal world of a video game. Some people, um, some people really kind of dedicate their whole life to building a life inside the video game. You could say building an empire. Now, this is a hard pill to swallow. And um, as long as we perceive this world around, as long as I perceive this world around me as real, then I think it has value. And there's really no difference between me and the people who dedicate their whole life to having a life inside a video game. There's many reasons why this is so, but the bottom line reason is none of this is eternal. None of this can give me anything of lasting value. It's a very hard pill to swallow. And then on a more, that's kind of the bottom line. Like, why is it important not to take this world as real? Well, because it's not eternal and it can't actually give me anything that I really want. Um, but then this verse really brings it out. As long as you believe in what your physical sight tells you, all your corrective behavior will be misdirected. So a lot of things that we do in life, um, we're seeking to make things better. That might not always be what's consciously going on, but we're always seeking to make our life more wonderful, to avoid, in a sense, to avoid pain and move towards pleasure. Um, so that's like the fundamental impulse of everything we do. And, and if we take all of this as real, then that impulse, which in a sense, that's a really sacred, wise impulse, right? To move towards what's good and to move away from what's not good. However, if we think this is real, or as the Course says, if I believe what my physical sight is showing me, like right now, I'm looking out the window, or so it seems, and seeing a plant, a tree out there. Now, if I believe that this world I'm perceiving is actually how it is, that this is reality, that, oh, I'm a body in this world looking out through the body's eyes, interestingly enough, looking out a window. So if I believe all this is the way things are, then I'm going to spend all of my time trying to like arrange things in this world to go well. Like I said, that really sacred impulse of seeking the good and seeking to move away from what's not good. If I take all this as real, then all of my time is going to be spent trying to arrange these things, trying to arrange the things in my world to the way I like. And um, that's a misdirected, that's corrective behavior that's misdirected. Because according to the Course, salvation is my only function here. That's all I'm here to do, is to save myself and others, which in the end end up just being parts of myself. So if that's all I'm here to do, believing the world is real will, believing what the physical eyes see will over and over and over keep me from fulfilling that. So as a miracle worker and as a child of God, all I'm here to do, and when I say I, that's not to be like this particular, that's all of us. All of us can say that. I'm only here to heal. I'm only here to save. I'm only here to forgive. So if that's my only function here, then arranging the world, then that's what I want my corrective behaviors, that corrective impulse, which in this section, you know, um, it talks about how, the once the spiritual eye is awakened, then all it all it seeks to do is to, um, bring about the atonement. I mean, that's all that I'm here to do, and that's all that any of us are here to do in truth is we're here to literally bring about the atonement for everyone and everything, the absolute end of all suffering. We're not here to play video games. And by play video games, what I mean is like build a good life. And not that that can't happen and won't happen. And that's actually not what we're here to do. That can come about as a side effect. And obviously, you can put all of your time, energy, and attention. And some people, by worldly standards, do achieve a good life. But that really, in the end, avails them of nothing because it passes. So it's not that it's wrong to have a good life or to do things that will make life more wonderful, but it just absolutely cannot be the first priority. If all our corrective behaviors are going there, there's little time, energy, and attention And the funny thing is what I'm starting to realize is that the external behaviors might stay the same. you know we might actually not behave super differently once the spiritual eye is awakened. And really, the awakening of the spiritual eye isn't necessarily this esoteric. you know Awakening of the spiritual eye is just the recognition that the world we see isn't real and can't give us anything we want. Once that really starts to feel true to us, I would say the spiritual eye is awake. So, for example, yesterday I went to the doctor because I'm going to be traveling and a long flight. And so I went to get some sleeping pills because I like to take a sleeping pill on the flight. Um, it just really makes, my travel go better. And so, there was a questioning of like, because I've recently had that experience of recognizing that, like, okay, this world actually isn't real. And so it's like, well, do I go get a sleeping pill? Is that okay? And um and I got a yes to go do it. And so what happened is, the whole time I was there, I was working miracles. I was you know Fear was coming up in me that the doctor wouldn't give me the pills because my doctor wasn't there, so I was able to release that. And every person who came in, um, I was able to ask the Holy Spirit to, and some of them had very apparent physical symptoms. Like, ask the Holy Spirit to help me see them as whole and healed, and to step into the certainty that they would be healed. And then to step into, like, okay, my normal doctor's not here who would give me the sleeping pills. This person might not. And to really, um, it's really interesting how afraid I was of, not just of not getting the sleeping pills, but what I'm recognizing is the ego is terrified of not getting what it wants. Like, it thinks it needs certain things. So I got to face that and release that, and also fear of authority. Like, there's a way in which we all, until we don't, we put doctors on a pedestal. And so I was able to release that and really converse with this new doctor as an equal. Uh, so so that's an example of, it's in the end, it's about following guidance. It's not about being like, okay, well, I've recognized the world isn't real, so I'm not going to clean my room anymore, and I'm not going to go get sleeping pills, and I'm going to not do this and do that. In the end, it all comes down to following guidance. And then in the end, the first line of the Course in Miracles, well, no, the first line is, "You will see miracles." I forget the first line now. It's something like, "You will see miracles through your hands, through me." But what I was thinking is, very early on in the Course, Jesus says each day should be devoted to miracles. He doesn't say each day should be devoted to, you know, not not doing this or not doing that. And in fact, in the manual for teachers, it says that, everything that occurs has been set up so it can be a learning experience. Every person we encounter, everything that happens, is a learning opportunity. So it's like we keep our attention on, or we're training ourselves to keep our attention on the eternal, and then to keep our attention on being available to work miracles as we go throughout our day. Christ calls that, miracle readiness. And then, you know, we ask we ask Christ to take care of all the details for us, and then just follow guidance. And then every now and then we play a video game. It's not about becoming a monk, though, or a nun, though that's an option. It's about how we do what we do. I believe that's the primary emphasis. In fact, when talking to Helen, he's like, you can even do a certain amount of trivial things. He said something like within reason. So, so let's open ourselves to the idea that what our physical eyes are seeing isn't real. And even just, and that's in some ways, that's like the hardest idea of the course to swallow. I think the two hardest ideas is that the world is we perceive with our eyes is unreal, and the second is that there's no order of difficulty amongst miracles. So let's spend some time every day contemplating that, well, there's no order of difficulty among miracles. Partially because, not partially, but partially because everything we see about us is just a mirage. So, of course, God can shift a mirage. Of course, I can shift a mirage. I'm the one who made it. And then, secondly, yeah, this world is not real. And for people who struggle to, one thing that opened the doorway for me is like to look at my hand and being like, wow, like, oh, it has this color and oh, it has this texture and it looks really solid. And even from a scientific perspective, we know that's not the case. Like this thing is like uh, this thing that looks so solid is nothing more than a bunch of emptiness. It's like 99.9 from a point of view of physics. This hand is like 99.9% emptiness with these little grains of sand whirling around so fast that when the grains of sand touch each other, it creates this sense of solidity. It's like, if you move, I move my finger really fast. You can't really see it so well. Move my finger really fast, and I try and like, if I try and have this finger go like this, and I move this finger really fast, it my camera's not so good. If you move one finger really, 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 really fast, and you try and move the other finger past it, even though there's nothing solid there, if it moves fast enough, it will actually block it. It will create the illusion of solidity. And I'll get a really good camera, and then we can demonstrate that. So just even based on physics, what we see is not what's there at all. And I hope that opens the door for anyone who's skeptical about that idea. All right, angels, divine creations, perfect, infinite, limitless spirits. See and feel you all very soon. Thank you.